work on is teaching our horse to drop his head on cue. Okay, so Blue tends to be a little bit stiff, so asking him to have a head down cue, drop his head down, all of that is about getting him to relax more. Okay, so make sure that your lead rope is not wrapped around your hand, so you can kind of drape this on your arm like I have so. And so what I'm going to start with is I'm actually going to put a little bit of pressure here on this knot on the bottom of this rope halter. I'm going to put kind of the weight of my hand on here, and when the tip of his ear lowers, then I'm going to release. Now you guys probably didn't see that, but he dropped his head just a tiny bit, okay? He doesn't know exactly how low or how high we want his head or how much lower we want it. So we have to reward after each attempt of head dropping, okay? Each attempt of him lowering his head down. So he might move this much, he might move this much, okay? So we just put a little pressure on this lead rope, pull downward, he drops his head, I take the pressure of my hand off, and I reward him, okay? All right, so I'm gonna put another downward pressure on him, he drops his head there, I reward him, and I leave him alone. Okay, again, put a little pressure, good boy, Blue, good job, good job. Okay, so he raised his head back up, so what do? I ask him to lower his head again. Right there, good boy. And you can actually do this all the way until your horse's nose touches the ground. Okay? So like when Blue gets pretty, tense and nervous, this is the first thing that I ask him to do. I ask him to kind of relax, drop his head down. Because you notice that horses are really nervous. They have their head up high, up above their withers. And horses that are really calm and relaxed, their head is usually at the level of their withers or below. So we had a plane fly by. Blue got on alert a little bit, so I just asked him to drop his head back down again. Another way you can also do it is you can do it two-handed. You can put your hand on the center of his poll, which is right between his ears. Okay? And you can pull down on the lead rope. You can kind of push with your fingertips a little bit here and pull down gently. Like I'm not trying to physically pull his head down because he's actually really strong and that's not going to work. Okay? So he raised his head back up, so I just kind of remind him, no, I want your head here. Good boy. So I'm asking him to drop his head again, a little bit of pressure, and release. Good. You see his response is really quick, so that means I have to be just as quick with my response of taking away the pressure. Now if you're curious how much pressure I'm using, I'm not really using that much. You might have to start and use more pressure and then ease off. Good. Because you want to get the desired result, but you don't want to cause your horse pain. Okay, good boy. Good boy. So you see, if you can see from there, Blue's eyes are getting softer, so he's kind of relaxing. Good. Come on, buddy. There you go. Good job. Sometimes if I'm working with a horse and they're really adamant and really tense in their neck and they don't want to drop their head, I might kind of wiggle their head back and forth a little bit. There. Kind of helps unlock that neck, because that neck and what happens is that jaw gets really tight. They clench their jaw and then their neck tightens up and it tightens all the way down to their spine. And so getting them to drop their head helps relax those muscles. I'm asking them to drop a little bit more. Good boy. Good boy. And you'll notice that horses will have kind of a yo-yo effect. Their head will go down and they'll pop back up, and you'll have to ask it a million times. And this is something that you'll have to work on the rest of the horse's life, especially if you've got kind of a nervous, high-headed horse.